What's good, gamers? What's good? My name is Dr. Ryan Terao, PsychSensei, and welcome back to Reading with Ryan. I think that's the working title that we're going with right now. I don't know, nothing really like rhymes with read or sesh. I guess psych sesh, makes sense. At the same time, that was something completely different. But I'm super stoked to be here on this Wednesday. Lots of things have been happening in the esports world. Holy crap. And I'm just excited to be here with all of you. And if you like what I do, you are interested in learning more about me and all that kind of stuff, please visit my website, PsychSensei.com. There you can, find all the stuff that I updated. You can now make the consultation form and sign up for a day and a time. I've added some other resources there, and be on the lookout because I am going to be posting a shit ton of content. I was looking through all the stuff that I haven't posted yet, or the things that I still need to post, and there's a lot of things that need to go down. So if you want to go to my website, you can find my Instagram, my TikTok, my Facebook, my LinkedIn, all those things. And also, if you want to work towards and define your win condition, you can fill out a free consultation form and you and I can sit down and figure it out today. Super stoked, like I said, to be here. Welcome back, Snappy Dragon. You're definitely the first one here. But yeah, today's article, what we'll be talking about is collaborative flow. Now that we got everything set up, we have the Twitter spaces, we have my Discord. If you want to come into my Discord and hang out in the FOMO dojo to talk about, whatever, or you have a question that you want to ask and you want to join me live on my Twitch, you now have an opportunity to do so through my Discord, which my nice little bot has provided the invite to. So we have a lot of things. All right. But I know what everyone came here for. Besides my good looks and my charm, I know people came here for the article. Ta-da! All right. So today's article we'll be covering, it is about collaborative flow, or approaching collaborative flow. Wow, this got updated and this looks freaking insane. Okay. Rainbow Meowie, what's up? At some point, we gotta fix your Discord permissions. I wonder how many others are in the same boat as me, unable to see stuff. I fixed it. You should be able to see stuff now. I'm pretty sure you should be able to see stuff now. I tried to fix it with ISO, and if you can't, let me know so I can redo it one more time, because that was super shitty, and I'm sorry for that. Okay. So, tonight we're talking about approaching collaborative flow in collaborative gaming, a study survey. Oh my god, a survey study. We're already starting off on a hard, awesome note. Okay. I'm going to try these last names. I'm going to butcher them, and I'm sorry for that. Okay? I got this. Oran Comet Alavesa are Benen? I did my best. I'm so sorry. Okay. Let's jump into it, shall we? And if you guys have any questions, any comments, any concerns, you let me know in the chat or wherever, and we can stop and totally go. It's still broken for you. Girl, we're gonna hop on another call and try to fix this because I swear, it should be fixed. And if it's not, dang, let me know which ones are broken. Okay. Abstract. Flow is an aspect. Oh, maybe we do a disk screen share, try to figure it out. We should definitely do that, because if it's broken, that is hot ass, and I can't have that. Okay. Abstract. Flow is an aspect of player experience that has been often targeted in game studies. Still, similar to presence, it can be ambiguous and difficult to quantify. Absolutely. Okay. In this study, we approach the concept of flow in cooperative gaming and frame the target of the study as collaborative flow, quote unquote. Look at this typo. Teehee. Teehee. I'm not gonna lie. These things make me happy. Okay. Team play and sensory immersion, imaginative immersion, behavioral involvement, social presence, and engagement were mapped in an online survey with 75 participants. We noticed small significant differences between semi-professional gamers and hobbyists, okay, in some flow-related aspects of player experience. In addition, weekly gaming time influenced the results. Okay. In the study, we use existed validating questionnaires that can only state that better metrics and definitions for this aspect of player experience are needed for future research. What I think is good about that is that, like, it is saying that they need more research. I think this is cool that they did, like, a survey to find out. I think would have been better, would have been, like, actually strapping something to somebody's head to figure out through their brain waves or whatever, have they hit flow, what define flow through a certain brainwave pattern, and then actually see if there's a difference. I think I'm asking you for too much, but hey, I'm just designing studies that don't exist yet. Okay, introduction. Flow is considered a positive deep state of consciousness. Okay, let's this is defining, right? We're defining terms. Considered a positive, deep state of conscious experience when people engage in tasks. It is also possible in many situations for people to have joined sensation of flow, described as group flow or team cognition. Didn't think it was possible, but it totally is. I've heard team cognition before, but not used as a, like, flow state. I thought group cognition is that, like, everybody understands what we're all thinking and we're all doing the same thing. All right, collaboration and cooperation collaboration and cooperation are key in team esports. While esport encompass many genres and both individual and team performances, it is considered a competitive sport. Okay. It's not my fault that I can't read. This is singular, and this is plural. It is considered a competitive sport where performance is a key. I feel like I'm editing this in my head instead of reading. Okay? The interest of research on the topic of knowledge on the psychological factors in esports has increased over the past decades. Esports research has evolved from trying to explain the phenomena to audiences to describing the complex mechanics that make esports what it is. Many fields of study esports from different perspectives. Some approaches are heavily influenced by methods used in traditional sports. While the recreational gaming has shifted to professional domain, there is still a connection. The same video games that are played in esports are still played by gamers of all levels. True. Walker's studied sense of enjoyment comparing social and solo flow in a controlled setting while conducting tasks. In his study, Walker observed that people enjoy social flow more. Okay, I don't know what social flow is, and I wish to define that term, but alas, here we are. It is also well known that people tend to enjoy social aspects of gameplay and find them highly motivating. Yeah, I mean, that's like why most people play games, is to connect with their friends. I think that's what people don't realize about gaming, is that gaming has evolved from a singular person or two people sitting in front of a TV to, like, people coming home from school playing video games together. Like, you know how back in the day, like, we used to go online and wait for AIM, like, or AIM, for your friends to come on to hear that creak of the door to, like, let them know that they're here. Instead of that, now we're waiting on Discord for people to come, or, like, your game on Steam or wherever it comes, we can hang out with them. I think video games have evolved to be a much more socially connected activity than it was back in the day with, like, an N64 or an Atari or even a Game Boy where you're just playing by yourself. You know what I mean? Much of attention in esports research is on improving performance from the perspective of psychology. Yeah, that's my job. Attention is placed on aspects of cognitive performance. In this study, we use psychometric questionnaires used in game user research. The aspects chosen for mapping were... For mapping? What? Were co-presence, flow sensory and imaginative immersion, behavioral involvement, social presence, cognitive engagement, conscious attention and absorption, and behavioral engagement, social connectedness and interaction. The survey was answered by 75 participants. It's not the greatest N. 100 is good, but 75 ain't bad. The goal of the study was to explore how solo, collaborative, and question, comma. Collaborative and avid gamers perceive flow and flow-related aspects of player experience. We hope our findings have relevance for esports and possibly any human endeavor that require joined action that is mediated by the digital media. Interesting. Okay. All right. Let's define some terms, shall we? Flow. Flow is defined. Oh my god. Flow is defined by. I'm not gonna. I feel bad butchering that. As a deep state of consciousness people feel while focused on task. According to that person, definition of flow experience as an optimal experience where a user is completely focused on own task and forgot all surroundings. It has been unequivocally described as a positive, rewarding experience. True. The original description of flow was based on observations creative processes, but since then, the sense of flow has been observed in a wide variety of different contexts, including digital games and esports. Basically, the experience of flow is being completely immersed into something where you can't be distracted, you have full attention in it, you're present, you're conscious. Yes, it's been described as positive. I don't know if anyone said like I don't like flow. And where you're just basically in it. I think that's the best way to describe it. Someone's just in it, completely immersed. Oftentimes people say that they forget their body or time or whatever because they're just so present in the activity that they're doing. Okay, collaborative flow. While flow can be categorized as a habitual state of deep concentration, the people experience it are not asleep. Oh my god, could you? Is dreaming then a flow state? Or could... I think it's also really funny if you could only reach flow by sleeping. That'd also be a very interesting statement, but whatever. Okay, they're operating, playing, or interacting, which allows us to consider outside influences to this experience, even social aspects. In this study, we call this experience collaborative flow, a state of mind where emergent coordinated action enhances the flow experience. Okay, what I'm thinking about right now is like, isn't that insane if we could reach that state all the time? Of like, okay, your flow is doing this and you're like vibing and you're completely immersed in this thing. But then like to get that with like 4 other people or 3 other people so you can enhance their playthrough collaborative flow, I think would be interesting. I'm wondering then, like, if this is a chicken and egg thing where like to reach group flow, would it be easier if one person was flowing and then it catches on like fire, where if I'm flowing, then you flowing, then they're flowing, then we're all flowing? Or is it like we together are performing really well, and then because we are performing well, we instigate group flow? You know what I mean? Like, I wonder what has to happen first. If someone gets into flow and then the team, or the team gets into flow and then you get into flow as an individual. I don't know. What do you think in the chat? Just thinking out loud. Okay. Takalo et al. Describes the optimal state of flow as emergent as an ideal situation where skills and challenges are high and in balance. Okay. We propose adding joined action to the skill and challenges to find optimal collaborative flow. Okay, Freeman and Juan and Lipovaya et al. Note that in some situations, the team's performance is so high that players start to accurately predict actions of their fellow players. True. This results in extremely fine-tuned teamwork called collaborative flow. Oh, sorry, excuse me. Collaborative, that's all, oh my gosh, called team cognition. By K calls this collaborative flow group flow due to how differently flow is experienced by solo and cooperative gamers. Solo players experience stronger flow probed using psychometric questions, flow states, short scale form. Interesting. What is this? Figure 1. The game survey participants reported playing miscellaneous, multiplayer, and single. Okay, so most of these people came from Counter-Strike. Okay, let's go. What's miscellaneous multiplayer? That's interesting. Grand Theft Auto, Minecraft, Overwatch, Van Halen, Valorant, Apex Legends. Interesting. Okay. Evaluating flow with psychometric questions. Aspects of player experience are overlapping and interconnected. Polls et al. Characterize as one subcomponent of player experience, flow divided into concentration and absorption. Huh. Okay. Swester and that person, Wayleth, describe more broadly game flow as an experience that is comprised of concentration, challenge, skill, control, clear goals, feedback, immersion, and social interaction. In other words, they sum up game flow as a collection of many positive, rewarding aspects of player experience. In this study, we chose to map co-presence, flow, sensory, and imaginative immersion, behavioral involvement, social presence, cognitive engagement, and behavioral engagement. Our goal was to explore the aspects of player experience that influence or might result into emergence of collaborative flow with avid gamers. So, the thing that I'm taking away from this is also there's a lot of things that go into flow. It's not just like a state of being, or it could be, but what is even more important is that like it involves a lot of different aspects to get into flow. And I think if you were to think about all these smaller things, it'd be harder to get in flow. But at the same time, when you are in flow, you're probably balancing a lot of these things without even thinking about it because you're just completely immersed in the activity that you're doing. But that being said, there's not just a singular component that goes into flow, which is really interesting. And I think it's even more challenging now if all these things go into flow. If you're trying to get into group flow, all these things need to sync up, which is really interesting. Okay, methods and materials. This paper presents findings from an online study. Bro, honestly, how did you get these people to figure it out? Oh, shameless plug. Okay. Since we're talking about studies, if you want to participate in my study that I am conducting, you can join my Discord. And what I'm looking at are 5 different aspects of esport: gamers, players, pros, college, whatever, casuals. Like if you play games and you're a gamer, you're eligible to take the survey. And so I have 5 awesome surveys in my Discord under the experiment tab. And what I think is really cool about this survey is 1, it's made for gamers by gamers, myself, for you. And 2, you probably never seen a survey format like this before. And it's ungameable. You can't trick it. You can't skew my data. So I think at the very least, you should check out that experiment under experiments in my Discord. Or if you're interested in it, I can post it to you. So in the chat, put it in there. I can send you a DM with that survey. And if you take my survey, send me your like screenshots that you finished it, and I can enter you into a $100 cash money prize at the end of the conclusion of the survey. I need 100 participants in all of them, and I have, you know, some in whatever, some in the other. So, shameless plug, and if you want to be entered in that $100 cash money prize, finish my surveys. Go for it. Okay. And you can also find those the Discord at PsychSensei.com. Okay. All right, so an online, and they did it via Discord at this university? Not bad, not bad. All right, participants. The survey responded are aged between 14. Yeep. The median age is 24. Okay. Gender distribution of the respondents was uneven, and only 8 female respondents, 66, and 1 undisclosed. We need more ladies. Let's go. The gender inquiry was open to other than binary answers for dividing the players into 3 groups based on their weekly hours played. We used the categorization of Hewson and Griffiths that divides gamers based on the hours played into 3 groups: casual, 0 to 15, regular, 15 to 30, and excessive, excuse me, maybe I wouldn't use the word excessive, maybe I'd use high or a lot. Maybe not excessive. Jeez, label much. Okay. The survey participants were not subjected to the names of the categories, as we thought it might influence how they answer. 8 participants reported being semi-professional gamers, while the rest reported the gaming to be a hobby. The participants had gaming experience between 1 and 31 years. Damn! How many years of gaming do I have? If I started gaming when I was 6 or 8, I was 20 something. Okay. The highest variance amongst players was in the games they reported playing. Okay. Survey structure. The survey for player experience consisted of 52 statements, diverted of 3 individual questionnaires. Okay, so they Frankenstein these questions. Cool. English versions of the questionnaires were used. Short co-presence questionnaires by Game Experience Questionnaire, and the more recent questionnaire, the Consumer Video Games Engagement Scale by Absai et al. Categories perceived relevant to the concept of collaborative flow were chosen. The full list of questionnaire items is as follows. Okay. Co-presence flow. Okay, interesting. I don't know how this works for the validity of their thing because it like Frankensteined all these surveys together, but hey, it's still pretty cool. Still pretty cool. The item, behavioral engagement and interaction, specifically refers to social interaction according to the original source, despite the formal name of the questionnaire item. The survey also informed the respondents that the collected material would be used for research purposes. All material was collected anonymously. Cool. Okay. I mean, they just listed all the things they took. Okay, cool. Results and analysis. The tool for statistical analysis was SPSS, statistics. One-way ANOVA was conducted for comparisons. Solo and team players. As expected, there were statistically different... Oh my god. I can do it. As expected, there were statistically significant differences between those who played solo and in a team. You don't say. Different co-presence, social presence, behavioral involvement, social presence, psychological involvement, empathy and negative feelings, social connectedness, and interaction. None of the other aspects of players' experience produce statistically significant results. Word. Okay, this looks like it got darker. Okay, influence of team size. Since we also inquired the team size from the participants, we separated those who play solo and in teams. Okay. 17. Okay, and teams of 2 to 3, okay? Or greater than 3? 3 values were missing from the team size. In the group of more than 3, the mean group size was 5 with a standard deviation of 10. Dang, what's up, ISO? Okay, apparently ISO, my Discord is still broken. We need to fix that, my guy. Okay. The most played game of each participant would have affected the team size. The most common team size for those who mainly played Counter-Strike was 5. One miscellaneous multiplayer game gave the value of 40 guild size, perhaps, despite reporting being a solo player. Yeah, that's probably what's your face. That's probably like a WoW or something. Okay. Whoa, what's up, Rico? I see you, baby. Okay. We had 2 participants who reported mainly solo play, but in addition, having a team of 2 players. For this comparison, we kept in the solo group based on their main game style. There were not enough participants to compare reported team size individually and gain significant results. Just as with comparison of solo and team players, there were significant results in all social player experience measuring items in the questionnaire. Co-presence, social presence, behavioral involvement, social presence. I read that again. Psychological involvement, social connectedness, and interaction. In addition, sensory and imaginative immersion yielded statistically significant results. Okay. Interesting. Oh, need help? I got you. Just hit me up and I can help you tomorrow afternoon. Close to bedtime right now, but after work tomorrow, I got you. Thank you, my guy. I might have to look for that. Yo, what's up, Rico? Thank you. Okay. Rico, if you got any questions, my guy, please feel free to jump into my Twitch or my Discord, and you can ask your questions there. Okay. Influence of game time. We also observed some influence on weekly game time on player experience. Social presence, psychological involvement, empathy was higher with participants playing 0 to 30 hours weekly, making them either casual or regular gamers according to that person. We also noticed quite low p-values on 2 other items: sensory and imaginative immersion and cognitive engagement, conscious attention. Okay, suggesting higher immersion with casual and regular gamers, but slightly higher conscious attentions amongst regular and excessive gamers. Let me put red on that. Let's see. Okay, let's think about that. Higher immersion with casual and regular gamers, but slightly higher conscious attention amongst regular and excessive gamers. I still don't like the word excessive, but here we are. What I'm thinking this might mean: immersion with casual and regular gamers. I wonder what the difference between immersion and attention is. Like, if you go in and you're immersed in the game, you're having more just in it and you're immersed in the experience, versus like conscious attention, are you more focused on what you're actually doing in game? I don't know. Interesting though. Okay. Observations on avid gamers. We only had 8 semi-professional gamers in our sample. They were regular or excessive players. Comparing the small number of players to others yielded statistically significant results in social present behavior involvement, cognitive engagement, conscious attention, and behavioral engagement interaction. All these were higher among the semi-professional gamers. That makes sense to me. I would think that these would be higher amongst professional gamers because they're being more intentional about the thing that they're doing instead of being in it for the social or in it for like the casualness or the hangoutness of the game. They're actually trying to like do something in the game. You know what I mean? Okay. Based on our study setup and survey findings, different aspects of player experience are influenced by 4 factors: solo or team play, team size, game time, and player dedication. Fair. Solo play has different dynamics than team play, hence has been separated from team size. I mean, you don't say. That makes complete sense to me. Why would they be the same? Okay. Player dedication and game time are connected. However, our results show that more professional players and hobbyists experience different aspects of collaborative flow, very different. Therefore, these influences need to be presented and studied separately. Yeah, I mean, you're doing different things for different reasons. I think that's another thing that's really important to think about. I wonder if I'm not saying that casual gamers can't get into flow more than regular professional gamers or semi-professional gamers, but I wonder who it's easier for to get into. Like, is it easier for casual gamers to get into flow because they're just thinking about the experience and what they want to do to have a good time? Or I'm wondering if professional gamers can get into flow easier because they're more intentional about what they want to do and what they want to accomplish. So the discussion then becomes not about can these people get into flow more often or the things that affect flow numbers wise, but instead the intentionality of what you're doing the game for. Like, if you're intentionally trying to learn and you're intentionally trying to like get better at this thing, would you be able to enter flow easier than someone not trying to do it at all and just having a good time? Because I'm thinking flow, or the way that I've experienced flow or been reading and researching about flow, is that like flow is a state where you don't consciously try to get in it. It's just something that happens, like falling asleep, where like the more that you try to fall asleep, the harder that it is, but as soon as you stop trying to fall asleep, you just knock out, right? So I'm wondering, what are the factors that make it easier for someone to get into flow and to maintain it? And the funny thing about flow too is, as soon as you realize that you're in it, it goes away. It's ridiculous, right? It's ridiculous. Nothing makes sense. Okay. Discussion. In this study, we began approaching collaborative flow amongst gamers. However, our findings show that while social aspects of gameplay can be measured using the co-presence questionnaire, GEQ, and CVES, we need better metrics to approach flow-related aspects of solo and team gaming. So what you're saying is, we did all this study, this research, we got initial data. At the same time, we are going to conclude that we need better ways to research flow. Fair. In addition, metrics or other methods are needed for observing collaborative flow. Fair. Okay. Our findings, I think that's what I said. Our findings also show that semi-professional and hobbyists have differing experience in aspects of player dedication. You don't say. This suggests that separating esports player experience and player experience in general is needed for optimal research output and better coaching of athlete gamers. Okay. We noticed some interesting differences in groups of players depending on team size and game time. Casual and regular gamers rated high in social presence, psychological involvement, empathy, when gamers who play over 30 hours a week. You know what I wish they did? I really wish they defined these other things. Like, what does this mean? Social presence, empathy, or whatever. So you actually understand, or like, this is for sure what they meant. Okay. Although our sample of semi-professional gamers was small, when their player experience was compared with hobbyists, we noticed that they rated higher in two social player experiences or experience items: social presence, behavioral involvement, and behavioral engagement interaction. In addition, they rated higher in cognitive engagement, conscious attention. This is encouraging for future studies on player experiences in collaborative gaming and differs interestingly from the larger sample of players comparing the gamers who play below and over 30 hours a week. With that larger sample, we had a low p-value of 0.061 on similar differences in cognitive engagement, conscious attention, but negative effects on social presence, psychological involvement, empathy for gaming more than 30 hours a week could not be repeated with a small group of semi-professionals. Fair. Okay. While the p-value escapes the 95% confidence interval, we chose report it in this paper due to the implications of the results. I mean, this study also seems like there are some like mistranslations or something when I got this. Okay, what is this? Figure 2. 4 influencers on different aspects of player experience: solo or team play, team size, game time, and player predictions. Okay. I don't know what this graph is saying. It looks like different things, and there's a half and a half, and in the middle is collaborative flow. I mean, I just don't I don't know why this is white and kind of darker, and all I see is these things influence group or solo flow. Okay. Okay. Okay, let's just I have thoughts. I wonder what you guys are thinking. I have thoughts after this article. I'm kind of sad. Okay. Future research past. Considering this is a survey study where we would have liked to observe gaming style, specific statistical differences in result, the sample of 7.5 is still quite small. True. A bigger sample would have helped comparing team sizes where their influence on aspects of flow related to player experiences. We can easily speculate that there's a correlation with the game played and aspects of player experience, especially the social aspects, since the gameplay directly influences the number of people in a team game. The the degree of cooperation does not just vary from solo to team play, but according to what game is being played. True. This is also perhaps the biggest limitation of our study. Fair. The amount of social interaction required for successfully joint action is possibly also influenced on the communication requirements and whether the players are co-located or teleconferencing. I was just gonna say, I'm wondering too how this would have been different if like they actually watched people play games together, or if they're just taking data from like people playing solo queue on a random team together. You know what I mean? So like if you're in the same room in a LAN, I think it's gonna be different than if you're just playing remote, not with each other. It would be certainly interesting to investigate how collaborative flow changes depending on this degree and level of cooperation. In other words, in the future, we'd like to continue our survey to see if a bigger sample would yield more statistical relevant results in flow-related aspects of game experience. Bro, another thing that would be really interesting from the study, if they looked at the amount of, if you could quantify the amount of collaboration and teamwork required in different games. So for example, the amount of collaboration, communication, comms, or whatever, or types of comms that would be required in like COD, that's different than Valorant, that's different than CSGO, which is different than like Overwatch. And what would be really cool to see would be the different types of shooters, first-person shooters. May they be 5v5 tactical team-based shooter, Rainbow Six, or even no. Like even if you went, I think CS:GO would be like really good to look at compared to Valorant. These are both tac shooters, but one is straight up everyone has got the same things they can buy, to Valorant, which are locked into a specific type of playstyle because of an agent, to maybe even Overwatch, where it's the same thing, just a different pace and different requirements of the game. For example, instead of a 5v5 search and destroy kind of aspect, now you have a push the thing further or control a point, which is different, but you're also adding in like the switching aspects of Overwatch. And if you throw in like a Call of Duty, which is kind of like a first person, I mean, they're all first person, attack shooter that requires you holding down spots, but is different than Overwatch because there's not ults and abilities and things like that. And then you compare that to like Team Fortress 2, which is another attack-based shooter. I don't know, I think it'd be really cool if you actually compare these different types of shooters to the types of collaboration or communication or teamwork required in these different types of games. I think that would be a cool ass study. Or what do you guys think about how it differentiates like the types of teamwork, comms, and things that are required in these different games? And I'm thinking why I think this would be cool is because all those things and how they're different would make collaborative flow different too, I would think, because you need to think about different things to get yourself into flow, which would then increase the possibility that your team can also be in flow. Or what would be even more interesting in this would be like what aspects cause team flow. I think that would have been a cooler study of thinking about like what are the different aspects or themes or things that people do, say, perform to get the entire team into flow. Does it just happen? Can we artificially create it? Do we need to focus just on the individual first? Or do we focus on the group first? You know what I mean? Maybe it's even getting on the same page of understanding what y'all want to do. Maybe that's where it starts for group flow. Like I'm thinking like with group flow or getting into group flow, I'm wondering if it's step 1. Do we all know what we want to do together? Like, do we all know how we want to play the game together? And I think it's interesting when they looked at like casuals versus like professionals, because like I'm wondering too, like if professionals who spend, or semi-professionals, or what do they call them? Excessive or whatever, who play 30 hours a week, I'm wondering if those people who play more together have a better sense of what they want to do together, what this person is going to think or how they're going to respond to these different situations. Thus, they can predict it, and then they can play more cohesively together, and then it's more group flowy. Versus if you don't play with this person a lot, or you don't practice with this person a lot, then you don't have group flow because you can't understand what this person is thinking. You're not on the same page, so it's harder for you to reach the state of flow together. You know what I mean? And I also think, like, probably if you look at these 4 things that they like highlighted here, of course, if it's solo or group play, it's going to be different, right? Oh, my head's blocking it. Should I get smaller? Giggity. Okay. Like, looking at this graph or this picture to make sense of it, I'm wondering, like, of course, if you're in solo or team play, I'm guessing it's easier to get to flow by yourself than coordinating with other people. Then I think, like, player dedication, maybe I would change that to, like, what are they playing for? Because I'm guessing, like, if you and your teammate aren't playing for the same thing, it's going to be harder for you to reach that same flow because you're not on the same page of what we're doing this for. Then game time, I'm going to think that's like experience. If you play more, you're probably more experienced. You probably understand the game to a deeper level. Thus, you can understand more situations. Thus, you don't really need to think about it. Thus, you're in flow. Because when I'm thinking about flow is like an automatic thing that you don't need to think about. And to reach flow, you're just present in the moment. And yeah, you're thinking, but you're not actively problem solving because the thing that you're doing isn't a new novel thing. And instead, like, you are just applying the stuff that you already know. But if you don't know and you don't have the experience, then you have to rely on declarative memory or the things that you think you know to get you out of the situation or to, meet your win condition. But I'm thinking that if you know it, you don't need to think about it. You can just respond and react. Thus, you're in flow. And team size, yeah, the bigger the team, the harder it is to reach team flow because now you're dealing with more people. So I'm guessing, like, it's easier to reach collaborative flow if you're, like, playing Fortnite with 2 people. If you're playing, like, Apex Legends with 3 people. Like, I'm guessing it's easier to reach this flow because there's less people to vibe with. And if you spend a lot of time with these 2 people, 3 people, you're gonna get to understand their habits, their things that they do more easily than if you have a group of 5 or 40 people. That's what I'm thinking. Okay. Okay, we need better metrics. Fair. Okay, limitations. Okay, they say gender, small sample size, and not having enough people to put into the groups. Fair. Yeah, we need more girl gamers. We do. We need more female gamers. Shout out to all the ladies playing. Sorry if that guys are dicks to make it hard for you to join games. Alright. Collaborative flow. Conclusions, right? Collaborative flow is a joint experience of flow distinguishable from flow experience in solo gameplay. We hope these results help not just avid gamers such as esports players to achieve optimal collaborative flow, but also hope that these results have some relevance to those who design computer-mediated operated cooperative systems. In this study, we tried to approach the aspect of gameplay through a survey targeting flow related and social aspects of player experience. According to our findings, unsurprisingly, the solo players do fare lower in social aspects of gameplay than those who play in teams. I mean, that's the entire thing of it, right? Like, playing in a team versus playing by yourself, you don't have to talk to nobody but you. We also noticed that those who play more than 30 hours a week fared lower in sensory and imaginative immersion. We, in addition, identified future research paths for collaborative flow in gameplay and esports. As usual with psychometric questionnaires, the observational differences are subtle, and we warrant more studies in the future for exploring the collaborative flow with better metrics and more distinguishable results between different game genres with different specific communication requirements for cooperation and the number of players in the team. Makes sense. Makes sense. So, what do I think? Let's think about this. Okay. Let us go back here. See, the good thing is that I knew all the words in that article, which is good. Okay. I'm gonna move this here so we can get some takeaways of this. And if you guys want, you know, to say your takeaways, that's awesome too. I would actually prefer that. Okay. Alright, so these are the takeaways. Solo or team play? Factor. Team size. Factor. Player. Dedication. Factor. And game time. Alright, these are the 4 factors that affect group flow. I honestly, after reading this article, I just have more questions. But I have theories. You know, I just have more theories. The theory here is solo. It's okay. I don't know. Like, my theory from this study is saying that it's easier to get into flow by yourself than with an entire team. My other theory from here is bigger the team, the harder it is to get into collaborative flow. Game time. Okay, this is my other deduction. Okay. Yeah, I'll put this here. Make them smaller in case I have other other things I want to make. Okay. If players have same intentions, these are my conclusions from this article. And if you guys have other conclusions, you let me know. But in conclusion, group flow is the experience of everybody having flow in the same game, activity, whatever. The 4 factors that they're saying that affect group flow are player dedication, game time, how much you play, team size, how big your team is, or solo or team play, the context in which you're playing. My takeaways are, if it's solo, it's easier to get into flow than playing on a team. The bigger your team is, the harder it is to get into collaborative flow because now you're dealing with more people to get into the flow state with. If you play more, you probably have more experience. Thus, it's easier for you to get into flow and get into flow with other people. That being said, if your teammates also have the same amount of experience, it's probably likely that they see the game the same way as you, or at least could see the game in the same way as you. Thus, it's easier for you to get into group flow. But at the same time, on the other hand, if you're playing games with people with varying different experiences or level of the game, it's harder to get into group flow because you inherently don't understand the game in the same way. And lastly, player dedication. If you like all are playing the same game for the same reasons, for example, we're all playing the game because we want to chill and hang out and be like homies. Okay, you probably would get into flow with your homies easier than if one of your homies wants to play for funzy and the other wants to play to climb. You know what I mean? Like, I'm guessing if you have a missing intentions of what you want to get out of the gaming experience, it'll be harder for you to get into game flow. So, how I would use this would be, thinking about when working with a team, how to increase the game flowness. I would have to see, are they on the same page of why they're here? B, okay, do they all have around the same amount of experiences in the game? And if not, what are the points where you need to coach or teach or discuss how to see the game in the same way? Then lastly, I just have to understand that if there's a bigger team, you're probably not going to see the game in the same way, and it's going to be a little more challenging to get everybody on the same page because there's just inherently more of them. And then if you're playing a solo or a team game, you just have to understand that it's harder for everyone to get into team flow versus by themselves, which makes me think, again, going back to my first sidestep of like, okay, to achieve flow within a team, is it more important to emphasize everyone's individual flowness to promote team flow? Or do I need to make sure that I emphasize the team flowness and then go into the solo flowness? But I think at that point, we're chickening and egging at this, like, is it this one or this one? Of course it's both, but my question or my thought immediately is, where do we start? Yeah, I would say those are my thoughts with this article. A very interesting article. I really enjoyed the discussion afterwards that made me think about, how to use this or how to apply this. I think it's very interesting, the concept of team flow. But I really do think that my takeaways are dedication and game, time in game, and experience in game. And if you guys are all on the same page with playing the same way or being as serious as you want in the same way. Those are my thoughts. But as always, what are y'all thoughts? What do you think about this article? How would you use it? I think that's more important. All right. Well, that was super fun. I really enjoyed that article. I really enjoyed coming to see all of you to hang out. So thank you so much for coming to the stream. Tomorrow is the inaugural Tilt Clinic, where we'll be talking about everything Tilt. And I hope that you come tomorrow and talk about, your tilt, what's, tilts you, or even, your friend and what causes your friend to tilt. You know what I mean? Like, that friend. I'm hoping that we can have a fun discussion, hoping that we can, solve some of people's tilt problems, or at least talk about them in a fun way. But yeah, if you want to learn more about me and what I do, you want to work with me one-on-one to maybe increase your flow in game, visit my website, PsychSensei.com, and fill out a free consultation form. Find a day that you want to meet with me, and we can do it for sure. And also, while you're at my website, there's some resources there. And if you want to join my TikTok, my Discord, you want to follow me on Instagram or Twitter at @PsychSensei, you can find all my socials on my website, PsychSensei.com. And if you're into studies and you want to take my study, you can also go onto my Discord under Experiment and take my study and send me your results so I can enter you into a cash money prize. But yes. Appreciate everyone for coming. Thanks, Snappy Dragon, for coming. Rainbow Meowie, always a pleasure. And yes, let's definitely fix that Discord. And ISO, thanks for helping me again. And I might need to contact you again to help out. Holes in the eyes. True. All right, friends. As always, my name is Dr. Ryan Terao, your PsychSensei. And I'm here to remind you that stronger mental wins. All right, friends. Please be safe out there. It is snowing crazily out here. My goal is to stay warm, and hopefully internet will hold up so I can see you tomorrow. Screen buggy on your... I know, dude. It's really weird. I really wish that, like, I asked for, like, glare reducing, like, glasses, and they're like, yeah, don't worry, it's always included in our glasses. I'm like, that's pretty shitty. All right. Well, hopefully I didn't scare too many people with my scary ass eyes, but I'll see everyone tomorrow. All right, friends, take it easy. Pieces. Love ya.